We are back with Absolute Superman, and this is the beginning of a new era. Ra's al Ghul is defeated. The Lazarus Corps are in shambles, picking up the pieces Superman and his friends left behind. Talia and Brainiac are in the wind, and with Ma Kent gone, Superman is not wandering the world anymore. Now he has a real home, on the Kent farm, living the life as a simple farmer, when he's not, of course, Superman. So now it's time to pick up on the new chapter of Superman's life. Let's get into it. As he has now started his life as a simple farmer on the Kent farm, and he thinks to himself, it takes a few weeks, but Smallville starts to feel like Smallville again. No more news crews, no more Lazarus Corps, just the wind and the stars and the smell of fresh cut hay. Folks say it's as quiet now as it ever was. I smile and nod when they say that, and I try not to flinch at the noise, as he hears something and quickly suits up as Superman. Day and night there's always the noise, more all the time from farther away. I try to focus on one sound to tune out the rest, cicadas, heartbeats of heifers a few pastures over. Church choir in Topeka never works for long. There's always someone somewhere who starts screaming, so I do what my folks would have done. For this they call me Superman, a name I've never much cared for, but it doesn't matter what anybody calls me. I know who I am. And as he leaves and we see some people speaking in the diner, we learn that at some point between this comic and the last one, he must have told everyone that his new human name is Clark Kent. And we witness this very broken and damaged dam, which I believe is meant to symbolize the broken state of the world. As he hears all the problems of the world, the flooding, the wildfires, the violence, everything that he can't stop all at once. Now, one of the issues Superman hears when trying to stop this dam is that a man named Mr. Scott had another fire break out in one of his factories. So after saving the day here, he goes to pay this man a visit. Winslow Scott, we need to talk. There was a fire at one of your toy factories, the fourth fire in less than 2 years. Last time, 73 workers died, some as young as 12, and you walked away with a fine and a slap on the wrist. And as Superman burns everything around him, none of this is really registering to Mr. Scott because he cares more about his toys. Consider this your last slap on the wrist. You became a billionaire off the backs of children working 16-hour shifts, breathing lead and benzene, making toys that sell more than they're paid in a week. You're going to correct that imbalance, toy man, or I will do it for you. Ask Lazarus Corps what I am. People like you atop your mountains of wealth. You live your lives so high in the clouds, so far above everyone else. You've always been untouchable. I want you to tell your friends those days are over, as Superman looks like an absolute menace. None of you are untouchable, not to me. Change your way of life, Winslow Scott. I'll be watching. And this was our introduction to Absolute Toyman. And something tells me he's not gonna change his ways. He will also take vengeance on Superman. But our boy Cal's got more work to do as he goes back to the desert, back to Brainiac's hideout. As he says, doesn't look like he's been here for weeks, but this was definitely his lab. I can smell him in every part of it. Smells like death and rotting madness. Smells like Brainiac. You were right, he kept miniaturized alien cities, populated cities, and subjected them to all manners of deranged experiments. There were millions of beings in these bottles, screaming for help. I should have helped them. And I know what you're thinking, but I already checked. Every last one. All these cities stolen from different alien planets, I couldn't help but hope. But no, there's nothing from Krypton, nothing at all. I miss you, Soul. Because although Soul is dead, he is still talking to him, even though all that's left is just a soulless machine. As it responds, command not recognized, no such program detected. Everything is so broken here, Soul. I don't know that I can do this without you. I don't know if I can do it at all. As Superman stands in the flames of what used to be Brainiac's lab. And now he is in Organi Town, here to meet Ra's al Ghul. And Ra's believes he's here to gloat, here to relish in the triumph that he's earned. As we see, he looks very different. He's beginning to wither because he cannot get his medicine. He's got no access to the Lazarus Corps, so he's rapidly aging. As he explains this to Superman, I'm beyond their care, boy. I've been denied the Lazarus Pit treatments that have sustained me for centuries. Denied by my own company. It would seem my removal from office was not enough. The ungrateful shareholders wish to distance themselves from me permanently. They'd better pray I die in this cell. As should you, Superman. But he's got it all wrong. Superman tells him I didn't come to gloat or indulge your threats. I'm here because you're right about one thing, Mr. Al Ghul. This isn't finished between us. Because Superman knows he's made an enemy for life, and he's here to correct that right now. On Krypton, the Law Guild gave life or death sentences for almost every crime. Criminals were executed or written off and never seen again. But I'm looking for a reason to hope here, and I'm starting with you. A few hundred years ago, you realized this world was headed toward collapse. You thought you might be the one to save it, but I think you forgot along the way what it was you set out to save. I'm hoping this can help you remember. This is a book of prayers and mantras, poems, written by children from the slums outside this jail, written for you, after their parents died in your copper mines or were beaten to death by your peacemakers. And this is hilarious to Ra's. He laughs at the idea that Superman thinks he can rehabilitate him. He thinks this is all pathetic, but Superman is dead set on doing this. So on top of doing his best to save the world and rehabilitate Ra's, he's catching up with Lois as she asks him, "That fire in the Amazon, was that you? They say it stretched for 20 miles and somehow just suddenly disappeared. Did you do that? How did you do that?" As Superman explains, "I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to put it out, so I swallowed it." And this is obviously pretty damn shocking because he swallowed a giant 20-mile wildfire. He swallowed as much as he could and then simply moved it somewhere where it could do some good. Superman is out here breathing fire like a dragon. And Lois just cannot believe this. You ate 20,000 acres of tropical wildfire and puked it onto Kansas. Is that what you're telling me? And Superman lets her know he has no idea what he's doing out there. He is currently in his rookie year. And she says something I didn't think she'd say. Is this on the record? As they're speaking in front of the Daily Planet. It looks like Lois is finally getting more in line with her OG counterpart and has become a reporter. And he'd rather she didn't tell people any of this conversation. As he tells her, "I'm happy that people heard your reports from the siege of Smallville, and that you and Jimmy are getting job offers now. It's important work that you did, but you know how I feel about," as she cuts him off, "about being someone who could inspire billions?" But in true Superman fashion, he tells her he just wants to help. He really doesn't need anything else. And these two are finally getting close as she wants to go out for a beer. And something catches Superman's attention, although I think it's a mix of both. He was shocked she asked him out, and he hears something. As she says, "You have super hearing, I know you heard me." And Lois is being pretty damn thirsty right now. You can swallow wildfires, but you can't get a beer with me? Iced tea? Coffee? Kombucha? Something? Anything? Practically begging this man for his attention. But he needs to go. He hears trouble, as she tells him to watch himself. And I'm not gonna hold you guys, just my opinion, you guys can let me know. I think Lois looks very weird in this art style. The previous one suited her way better. Although all around, I think the art style is quite beautiful. And this issue of hearing all this trouble all the time is kind of getting to Superman, as now that he's back home, Lana is here to visit. And despite Superman being so busy and flying around the world, him saving people, him working on the farm, trying to do his best to do it without powers the way his parents would have, and letting her know that he hears people screaming all the time and it's starting to overwhelm him a bit, still, Lana wants some of that Superman, as she also asks him out on a date. But once again, he hears something and he's gotta go. Now I'm kinda wondering who he's gonna go on the date with first, Lana or Lois. Y'all let me know in the comments. As she comments on how Superman was mourning, so she understood why he was in all black, but blue suits him much better. And I do love this suit. And although Superman is so damn busy, he has not given up on what he said previously. He will rehabilitate Ra's. So whenever he's not doing the millions of other things he's doing, he's back here in Organi Town, reading to him. As he thinks to himself, "At first, Ra's laughs and mocks me as I read. After a few weeks of daily readings, the laughter ends. Now Ra's is just yelling at him. I will find these street rats and tear their guts from their bloated bellies, while you watch." But Superman ignores him. "In the name of the sun's divine light, may you know the peace we were denied. May you know the strength of mercy." But he's still not hearing this. "Give me that book so I can feed it to the dogs." As Superman thinks to himself, "Reports of a hurricane off the coast of Portugal. I tell myself I have enough time for a few more rows. I know I can't be everywhere, but I try." Trying to balance his farm work with his world work. Miles away, a car goes off an embankment. Passengers have only a second to react. Feels obscene to listen, feels more obscene not to. And after doing all that, he's back in Organi Town, reading to Ra's. And he continues to threaten, looking older by the day. "I will raze these slums to the ground. I will hang everyone you love." But Superman just keeps reading. "Our breath is the breath of the ones you tried to bury." As he continues to think to himself, "There's a child in Thailand, body riddled with cancer, no family. She doesn't want to die alone staring at the ceiling. I make sure she doesn't." As he shows her the beauty of her home before she dies in his arms. And afterwards, he spends the next hour alone in the stratosphere, screaming so loud it knocks satellites from orbit. But even after something so traumatic and heartbreaking, he's back in Organi Town, reading to Ra's. "We are not dust. We rise from it. We will build the world you refuse to imagine." As we witness Superman being overwhelmed by everyone in the world screaming. He's here, alone in the sky, screaming to drown out their screams. He hasn't exactly found that perfect balance that OG Superman has found. He's overworking himself. But despite all this, he is back in Organi Town, reading to Raish. And Raish is losing the energy to threaten and rage and kick and scream, and now he looks tired, even more old, as he says, I will gouge out your eyes and He just doesn't have the energy to do this, but Superman continues to read. In the name of the sun's divine light, may you know the kindness we were denied. And at this point, it's rinse and repeat. Do his best to save the world, work on the farm, rehabilitate Raish, and do his best not to break under all this pressure, as we see him literally being the foundation of a bridge. And he continues to think to himself, can I endure this long enough to see a world slip through my fingers all over again? I'm killing myself just to give them more time to suffer and stumble, more time. Is that a gift or a curse? It depends on the day you ask me. All I know for certain is that this is home now, as there are a bunch of red sunstone crystals growing on his home. Maybe the new Fortress of Solitude will be right here in Smallville, instead of out somewhere in Antarctica. That's just my little theory, as he continues to think to himself. Kal-El of Krypton, Clark Kent of Kansas, Superman of Earth. They are all me. And now, you don't hear Raish threatening anything at all, as Superman continues to read. You buried us in chains, yet we are alive. And Raish looks completely drained of life, all his muscle gone, some of that hair gone too, completely sunken and dead eyes, as Superman thinks to himself. Sometimes, for a moment, lost in the blue, we all get to close our eyes and remind ourselves that the noise means life. Survival is never silent, as he continues to read to Raish. You are the maker of wounds, but we are alive. You unleash the fire, yet we are alive. You will die alone, yet we are alive. In the name of the sun's divine light, may you know peace. And Raish has officially given in, as he says quietly, in the name of the sun's divine light. And he continues to think to himself, the cacophony means we're alive. It means we have hope. It's the silence we should fear. But despite him becoming more resolute in his stance as Superman, understanding he can't be everywhere but doing his best to be, and the fact that he's actually beginning to rehabilitate Raish, he is still in the sky being overwhelmed by all these screams. But this daily struggle he has with himself is interrupted by someone else in the sky screaming, hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? As we see, this is Absolute Hawkman, the man that brutally murdered Absolute Green Arrow, the man that showed everybody that the Absolute Universe is no joke, and some of those weaker heroes are gonna get straight up obliterated in this much harsher universe. He is now confronting Superman, as Superman realizes it's not only the silence they should fear, but also the people who will fight to keep them quiet. But before we see this conflict resolved, we catch up with Brainiac, who's just outside in all his grotesqueness, walking amongst everyone else, grossing out kids he's walking right by, as Talia tries to reach out, continuing to be rude and belittling him. But like I said a few issues ago, he's gonna do his own thing. He's not gonna help fix Lazarus Core, he's not gonna help Talia, he's not going to help her save Raish. He tells her, no, I'm afraid I won't be doing that. Consider this my resignation. I'm busy pursuing other avenues. Best wishes to you in your future endeavors, Miss Al Ghul, as he approaches the house of Absolute Lex Luthor. See, the last time we saw him was in Absolute Evil #1. He was the last member of this big secret Illuminati evil group that they needed, and it looks like this is exactly what Brainiac is gonna do. Finally, officially recruit this man. And this is how the issue ends, as the next issue is called Superman vs. Hawkman. So he may be getting get back for our boy Green Arrow. But either way, I actually really like this issue. He's getting more and more like OG Superman while also still being his own character. That's probably my favorite thing about the Absolute Universe. Things are so vastly different here, and they're darker and harsher, but at their core, they're still the heroes we grew up loving. And I really like to see the struggle of this Superman doing his best to balance everything out now that he's officially taking on that role as Superman. He's no longer helping people from the shadows. He's flying high in the sky doing the best he can. He's not used to this, and it's not easy. I appreciated seeing that. But either way, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys on the next one.